Put a smile on my face.
Good evening. Happy Friday to you fellas and gals and everyone else that may be on here. It is July 28th. It is Friday, and we're about ready to get this show started. So let me get the fellas on for you guys tonight. Let's go and have some fun. Let's go down Denison, Iowa, and let's grab Mr. William. Mr. William, come on in, sir.
So I want everybody to think here for a second. How much does this game mean to you? Because if it means something to you, you can't stand still. You understand? You play guys. You play strong. You go out there and dominate the guys you play against. And make the damn quit. That's our trademark. That's our MO with the team. That's what people know us as.
There's that good-looking devil.
Roll Tide, roll, man. It's great to be live today, and we are live from the CTS Sports Room. It's Friday night.
It's Friday night, baby. How you doing tonight?
Doing great, man.
Feeling great. Feeling good. Ready? Prove it. Prove it. Let me see the glass.
All righty. How about the jar first? Got that?
Oh, no, not the rare breed.
Yes, sir. Got a handle almost.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get our other partner in crime. Let's go back down to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and grab Mr. Alabama Tide. Alabama Tide, come on in, bud.
He's not going anywhere. Doesn't just roll out great players. He and his staff develop them. It's all about the process.
There's that young.
Hey, boys. Hey, I'm locked, cocked, ready to rock. Roll Tide. How we doing tonight, guys?
Doing good. How about you?
Man.
A lot of fun.
Well, all right.
The Feel Good is in the church tonight. We are the kings of confetti, brothers. And that's what we're going to talk about some tonight.
Yes, sir. All right. Before we get started, I want to try to get some of this out of the way right in the beginning of the show. We're trying to get folks and guests and stuff on different shows. So I want you guys to, any one of these emails that you see pop up, we've got the Tuesday night show with Spencer, Rise Up, and the rest of the gang. I better mention Van or he'd get mad at me. And let's see, we have got Thursday night show with Nick Saban Jr. and Rise Up, and we'll have their emails up too here just a little bit. And of course, we got Friday night show. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say something about the Saturday night show. It was a blast. We had fun, and we're gonna try it again this Saturday. But to get on Saturday night show, you need to contact one of these other guys, and they'll let me know, and we'll get in touch with you and see which show you want on. You can, if you want on Tuesday night and you want to use William's email, that's fine. He'll get it over to Spencer, and Spencer's going to do the same thing for William and Rise Up, and we're all just partners in crime in this CTS Sports Room. So, guys, I'm going to be posting that here in just a few minutes. And, all right, it is on y'all. What's the topic tonight?
We are continuing with the tradition of excellence with the players this time instead of coaches, and we made it to Gene Stallings. But first of all, let's get this on out of the way. We are 37 days from Alabama kickoff. 37 days. Now, those that's worn the number 37 for the Alabama Crimson Tide, there's two listed. And the first one We go all the way back to the Bear Bryant era. We go to 1965, which was national championship, Roll Down Tide, Kings of Confetti right then, to 1967. And he was a high school quarterback. This guy's name was Bobby Johns. I don't have that down on what I can see, what he played for us. But he was a two-time All-American in 1966 to 1967, if y'all want to say anything more on him real quick, if you remember him.
Well, I don't know about him, but Sean Alexander, and we've talked about it. He was Alabama back in the day. You know, we did not have anybody else when I say that, but he pretty much carried that team, you know. And if you was an Alabama fan back then, it was the dark years, and he could have went somewhere else. I mean, my goodness. And the way he played football and just done so good, it was fun watching him. I got to watch him in person, and he was a blast. So, yeah, Sean Alexander, yeah, you can't – I don't care. He was a true champion. You know, we didn't get no championships out of it, but he was a true champion to me.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, the man was a icon in running the ball. Went to Seattle and had a great career up there. And I seen you, Mr. Sprinkle, in the chat room. Roll Tide to you, big man. I'm glad you're here, Jeff Stapleton. Yeah, Sean Alexander is one of a kind. He's one of them kind of generational type players that you get. But we've been fortunate that at Alabama we got such a good tradition, legacy of players coming through our team, through our university, that we got a whole bunch of them. But Sean's right there at the top of the list, character and charisma, and everybody knows about his family. He lost, a whole lot of his wife, his daughters, stuff like that. Lost a whole lot, and he's been through a whole lot in his life. But he's one of our best players ever. You know, you can't help but like the dude. He's never said a bad word to anybody.
Yeah, he also started a foundation, Sean Alexander Foundation, that was for kids and stuff. So I admire the dude just for that alone myself. But, you know, I know how he played for us, and yeah, he accepted a scholarship from Gene Stallings, though he played a little bit. You know, I don't know if, did he get to play or not for him? I know he accepted a scholarship from him, and then he played most of his time with DuBose from there. But anyway, anybody got any?
I don't think he ever played for Gene Stallings. I might be wrong, Tom Ross Box, if you remember more, but I think he only, I don't think he ever played for Gene.
You see me looking over here this way? You do that one more time, buddy. You're safe. I'm looking this way, but if I start looking this way, yeah, you might as well hide your eyes.
I'm about a little duck and cover, huh?
Yeah. Roll Tide, Jeff Stapleton, Todd Colburn, Bobby Sprinkle. Georgia is a cupcake queen. Jeff Stapleton. Let's see.
Well, Joe.
Homegrown Cowboy. Glad you're back with us again, bud. Brock. Hey, man. Good to see you again. And George Lambert. Glad you guys got to make it over here. All right, guys. It's all y'all. Oh, little Joe C. Hey, bud. Roll Tide to you. All right. Yeah. I can finally say Roll Tide to him. Great. All right, guys.
Our tradition of excellence, you go back and you can pick up any player at any position, and everybody would have a different person to play in. And as far as quarterbacks go, eras don't mix. If you play in the 40s, 60s, 80s, 2020s, the stats just ain't never going to be the same. You can't compare quarterbacks from generation to generation because the game changes so much. But my favorite two quarterbacks of all time were, Mac Jones, what he did the one season he was with us, went undefeated, and we tore everybody up. And, of course, Joe Namath, the Bear himself said that Joe Namath was the best athlete that he ever coached. I mean, he had the total package. I mean, he was the best before the best ever come around. But I know Bryce Young won a Heisman for us, and he's right up there with it, and you got some other quarterbacks you can throw in there over the years. Gary Hollingsworth, when he played, when he first come to Alabama, didn't really expect him to do like he did. But you got all-time greats. You can go back years. You can go back to Bart Stars. I mean, you can pick a whole bunch of different players over the years. But my two professional, my opinion, the best two was Mac Jones and Joe Namath. That's the two I preferred.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely one of a kind, but Bear had his standards that he lived by, and Joe Namath had to sit out a little bit, remember that? Because he thought he'd go over there and try to climb that tower. Somebody didn't like it to.
Old Joe was a wild spirit. He didn't hardly take no for an answer on anything unless he'd fight the devil for it, like Kenny Stabler. I mean, the snake. Kenny Stabler is one of them unique individuals. Him and Joe Namath both had personalities that was bigger than the sport, and it's hard to have that kind of and not be able to not get in trouble with somebody like Bear Bryant or Nick Saban, because as good as players they are, you got to play with a team, and you got to have the right framework to do it. And of course, Stabler, he stayed, and it seemed like he stayed in trouble every time he done something. He was get in trouble, but he was smooth also. I really enjoyed watching him play over the years. Like I said, with Mac Jones being like he was, and he come in and done what he did for 1 year. And then Alabama is probably one of maybe 3 schools that you can go play 1 year at and go be a first-round draft pick in the NFL, because the head coach is what they trust. They asked Saban about him, and they said, yes, he's this, he's that. He's got a great mind, his ability to throw the ball, and they trust him, and he's first-round pick. Of course, we all know now he's playing for the New England Patriots.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. He was one of a kind that Joe Namath was. He's the only one that I'm not gonna mention that state over there. I'm not, but our quarterback was able to say, I'm going to guarantee a win in the NFL. Guaranteed it, son.
Yeah, he guaranteed they beat the Colts, didn't he?
Yeah. Baltimore Colts at that time. Sure did. Now, I didn't say they didn't struggle a little bit. They did. They had a little bit of struggle. But what he said, we're going to win it. Oh, yeah, we're going to win it. Now, I ain't going to say it's going to be like Vicky Valancourt and say it was going to be 30-27. Like she said. I got a little maybe the rest of y'all got a smile. But anyway, y'all got anything else before I go on?
Brock asked the question: could a quarterback win a job in the camp? Coming through, and I don't think they can, Brock. I think you got 2 guys, maybe 3, and I think it's really only 2 that's actually pushing to be starting. I might be totally wrong about Buckner, but I just don't think I think he was brought there solely for backup, because we got no experience, none. If our quarterback started out with Jalen Milroe and he gets hurt, there's nobody there with any experience, period, whatsoever, in the story, and that's it. So I think that's why he was brought in. Now, of course, he can be there also if he does better than I think he was. He could be the starter. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that I think Jalen Milroe will be a day 1 starter, and unless he does something that turns the ball over so much and then gets in the doghouse with that, he can be in trouble, because it's like I think it's excuse me, McElroy said, do you want to end every possession on a kick, whether it be an extra point, a field goal, or a punch? You want to end every time you get the ball on a kick. You don't want to end it on a turnover. And if you do that at Alabama, you're going to win nearly every time. You're going to win 11 out of 12 or 14 out of 15 times. So as far as winning the starting job, I think Milroe will be your incumbent, so to speak, if you will, because he did play a little last year. And I think he earned the right. He earned the right to maybe start the first game. But come Texas time, and we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, down to the nut cutting, if you will, TVMA. But I don't know if you can win the starting job that quick with what we got this year. Now, Tyler Simpson, Simpson, he could be taken over by Texas, but there ain't really no way. I'd like for it to be settled. What you got there, Mr. William?
You got something? Hang on.
I'll let him say it. Yeah.
Well, can y'all talk a bit about Georgia? Yep, I sure can. Georgia sucks. All right, enough of that.
I second that.
So now continuing on.
Brother. That's good enough for me.
Just trying to give you some love, share the light. We're just trying to give you some love. Hey, roll tide to you, bud.
Yeah, you got Fugger. That's about what I call him. You know, that's just Fugger.
Yeah.
And I always show my respect. Motivated, dedicated, simplified to you, bud. Glad you made it over here, bud.
Yeah, always our serviceman.
Not to that part. No, not to that. No.
He just for
the wrong team, man.
That's all. He's just pulling for the wrong team. We love him. Matter of fact, I was trying to get a question out of him, but he done left the room on us other night. But I can't remember exactly what it was. But I sure wished he would have stayed at least for that question. I kind of remember it. Maybe we'll go over it tomorrow. But anyways, all right, y'all go ahead.
I like that. What you got up there for Brock, man? Put that back up there, man. Yeah, Bill O'Brien did screw us. He sure the fuck did. He sure did. Didn't develop shit. That's right. Yeah. Now, I give you. Go ahead if you got something to say. I want to say something, but go ahead. I was just going to say, fucking. Well, yeah, I was just going to say, Bryce Young, to be the quality player that he was, he played with what he had to work with. So, you know, and if whoever's doing the linebackers coach, I don't know, seemed like there was something there too. I'm not going to place that all on Bill, but I think he's got a large part of it because he's supposed to be the one. But what did Nick Saban say ultimately? I'm the one that makes a call. That's what he said. Now, I don't know why is he taking up for the offense? I see he's a defensive coach originally. Now, why is he saying that about who is it? Wolford? Is he got the reins on the line or what? Maybe y'all can help me out there.
Well, Saban always takes the blame for anything on that team because he is the head coach, and as they say, buck stops here. You know, he'll always take the blame for it. You know, he never fires a coach. He never gets rid of a coach. He says they took a promotion elsewhere, decided to go elsewhere, and that's just his way of letting the guy keep his reputation and, you know, not kicking him in ways. I'm going to tell you, Pete Golden, for all the good he might as well walked out when he could because everybody knows he was fired. So, I mean, but Pete is what he was. But Bill O'Brien's offense was so complicated that you couldn't do it as a true freshman. And Bryce Young is a Superman generational type talent that without his ability, we wouldn't have had anything last year on offense. But that's because O'Brien's offense is too complicated. And not that Reese is simple-minded, but Reese is going to be more team-friendly, more quarterback-friendly. You're going to have a lot more running game. We're going to maul people. We're going to line up and just run over them from day one and find by the time people figure this out, it'll be too late.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he's a better scheme expert on that, you know what I mean? Because I think that's what we've been missing was a bunch of schemes on both ends, on the offense and the defense. You know, there was much scheming going on. You know, like, you know, they're going to line up this way. Well, let's do this right here. You know, I didn't see that. Not much of it, anyway. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry I didn't call that. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I was trying to keep up with the chat room a little too much, William.
Schemes. I'm talking about schemes as far as the other two that we had that's been let go. They didn't put much thought in the scheming like, okay, they're lining up this way, so why don't we go this way, you know?
Didn't make adjustments. They didn't seem to make adjustments enough. I agree with you. Pete Golden seemed like, for all intents and purposes, as smart as he was, I don't think he could make in-game adjustments. If something went wrong, he didn't know how to correct it. and he never would. He just never would. I mean, what Tennessee done time and time again to Helms was a ridiculous thing. He's a safety on a wide receiver one-on-one, and that ain't right. You can't hardly put a safety one-on-one with a speedster. I don't care who you are. If you're a safety, it's hard to cover these wide outs. I mean, you go cover Jerry Rice and see how good you can cover him, and then come back and tell me that Helms ain't no good. But what you got, Tommy? Here we go.
Uh-oh.
He just got
man.
out. Hey, man, that's a good movie. That is a good movie. I love that. Getting the Power of the Glow. That's a great movie. That'll teach your ass.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to that little button over here, I fear no one.
Man, I said the wrong word.
Roll Tide to the sprinkles out there, Bobby and Tammy. Roll Tide to both of you. Love you. Sure do. Van, Roll Tide, brother.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say Roll Tide Van. Roll Tide Van.
Yep. He did. And Spencer, too. Spencer showed up, too. Roll Tide, brother.
I didn't see you out there. I apologize. But yeah, you got, over the years, you just have so many quarterbacks that you can name that are, great at Alabama because our tradition, and that's what people say they don't like our past. Well, we got to. But you go to your next position, your running backs and stuff like that, your all-time greats, you got to start with my opinion. Obviously, now was Derrick Henry's our best running back that we've ever had. He not only does he lead us in total yards rushing, he's the second player to win the Heisman Trophy for Alabama during that time. He also won the Maxwell, Doak, Walker, and Walter Camp Awards in 2015. He just wiped up, cleaned up, and then took everybody to the house. Everybody remembers against Michigan in that playoff game, that guy come around a corner. I can't remember the defensive player for Michigan State. He stiff-armed him, and remember he flipped him. He turned that 290-pound man with one stiff arm out to the side, and I was like, damn, that's a grown man playing with a teenager. Unbelievable how good he was.
Roll Tide, rise up. I addressed that. I said a little bit about Georgia. I told him Georgia sucked. Enough of that.
And I
That's
second
all
it.
you need to do. I'm glad you got this right here up, man. Because I'm going to have to say this in the name of Motherfucker Jones. I think that's what that MFR means. I know what that movie is from.
It's from what he's watching, The Last Dragon. I am showing up. That is one of the coolest movies. If you ain't ever seen it, you got to watch it. It's a little on the corny side, but it's a damn good movie.
Last Dragon. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Oh
yeah, motherfucker. I agree with you on that. Bill O'Brien would get down to the 5-yard line and fucking want to pass the ball, man. On the 5 fucking yard line.
Yeah,
what the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Yo, Bill O'Brien, I'm glad he's going back to the pros. He's not a coach, guys. He's a pro coach. So, I mean, that's all it is to it. But, if you talk running backs, and my next running back, I guess, of all time, my opinion, again, obviously, is Bobby Humphrey. This dude was a dude before dudes become dudes, if you know what I mean. He's All-American in 96, 97. He's the Offensive Player of the Year in the 87. And he absolutely was a difference maker in every ball game. If you didn't scheme for him to stop him, he'd run over you, around you, and through you and make you wish you hadn't played him. I mean, the guy was just exceptional talent.
Man, I wish y'all wouldn't be talking in the chat there over the damn wives with the damn hammers. I'm grabbing myself over here. What the fuck, man? Oh,
what are you
grabbing? Go ahead.
Yeah, you got of course. Man. You got Mark Ingram. You can't have a list without Mark Ingram when being our first Heisman Trophy winner for what he done and what him and like Julio Jones started this. Since Saban got there, they got there before the going was getting good, and they got to getting good, and everybody all of a sudden wanted to play Saban because they saw what he was doing and what he's continuing to do today. You don't just keep pulling in these players by luck or by accident or they know who you are when you talk to them, and they understand, that you are a difference in their life, that you will get them into the NFL. If you work and put in the effort and do what you're supposed to, you ain't got to worry about being in the NFL. You'll be there. And, that he's just a difference maker from decades ago, Mr. Bobby Humphrey. You remember him, Wild Bill?
Yeah, I remember both of them, man. I remember both of them. So, but yeah, let's go and get into our subject tonight. We're talking about Gene Stallings tonight. So, everybody remembers the national championship we had with him back in 1992. Yeah, let's make sure. Okay, yeah, 1992 was our national championship, and the team captains were George Wilson, Prince Wembley. Derek Olden, and George T back then. And so we had during that game we had George T. He was a 93 Sugar Bowl, first ever bowl coalition national championship. And that's what that was in the 1993. So then we had him. So anybody got anything they want to add to about George T?
Well,
He was phenomenal in that game.
Yeah, George Teague was probably made the two biggest plays in that championship game against Miami, the Mouth Hurricanes. He ran down, was Lamar Thomas, wasn't it, Icebox?
Yeah.
He ran down Lamar Thomas after Lamar ran his mouth all week like everybody knows who I am. Nobody knows who you are. He ran him down and took the ball away from him. And the only reason that play isn't bigger in history as it was is because they had a flag thrown against Alabama and they called it back. And then or later in the game, he stepped in, intercepted pass, took it back about 30-something yards from, high stepping touchdown. I mean, everybody in the house was just jumping up, down, raising hell, screaming, and just happy as we could be because we knew at that point in time that Miami's offense could not do anything against our defense.
Yeah. I like what Spencer says there. George T. stole the heart of Miami.
He did. He broke them. They thought they had something, and one of the fastest wide receivers on the Miami team was run down, had the ball stolen from him, turned around in the end zone, was running the other stinking way, and buddy, that broke their little hearts. Oh, yeah, he got called back on some little goofy little offsides, if you want to call it. Well, but the thing of it is, it saved a touchdown, and that broke their spirit. Yeah, the best game ever, I call it.
Are you talking about the same play where he ran that dude down there and snatched the ball away from him?
Yeah. Now, I think George T. did get another interception, but that was earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, it was earlier?
He knew the play better than the receiver did.
Yeah, he stepped in and took her back about 30 yards, I think it was.
Yeah, roll tide to you, Tammy.
Hey, on that team, they had an offensive lineman named George Wilson. Didn't he shoot himself in the foot, Icebox? Do you remember at the start of the year, he's on a hunting accident and shot himself in the foot? Ain't that him? Do you remember?
You talking about that, who is that, George Wilson?
Yeah, an offensive lineman. I think he shot himself in the foot. He's bird hunting or something, and shot himself in the foot. And he's one of the main starters in that offensive line with William Barger was there. But we had different guys across the line. But, I mean, I think he's the one that did shoot himself in the foot with Matt Hammond and Roosevelt Patterson, Toby Shields, John Stevenson, and, of course, him. They were the primary culprits, on that line to open up the holes for Sherman to do that earthquake shake he done, the Sherman shake. And, of course, Derek Lassick. I mean, we had a backfield that ran all over Miami because we sure didn't throw the ball worth a damn that game against them. Martin Houston, that was a fullback. Martin Houston, he might as well have been an offensive tackle himself, as big a man as he was. He could move. And Chris Anderson and Terrence Lynch. I mean, we had all kind of guys down there over the years from a school called Hazelwood High School. That's where the Terrence Lynch come from out of. Of course, David Palmer's on that team, and everybody knows when the Deuce got loose. And, everybody loved him because he's such a good ball player. Dabo Swinney was on that team, the head coach for Clemson right now. He's on that team. He didn't do much that year, but he happened to be on the sideline to see that game.
Yeah. And also homegrown, I envy you too, because he says he don't live far from Gene Stallings, man. Shit. I'd love to just sit down there and talk with him a while, man. Shit. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah. The next guy I got down is a running back, Sherman Williams there. You remember him?
Right, I do.
Oh, yeah.
He
Derek
ran a
Classic.
2-yard touchdown. Made it 13-3 score there. Was that in the first half, I think? So.
Yeah, Derek Classic and Sherman Williams, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And, of course, that defense we had in that game, and everybody knows that remembers Copeland and Curry. But what they keep forgetting is Damian Jeffries and the guy named Jeremy Nunley. Jeremy Nunley had as a big impact on that game as Copeland and Curry, because when they were worried about Copeland and Curry, Nunley was eating their lunch, stealing their breakfast, and taking their dinner with him also. I mean, he absolutely was one of the better players on that defense. He just didn't get the recognition because Copeland and Curry was such a two-headed monster that they worried all about them and let him run free, and Jeremy Nunley took everything from him.
Man, Edwards, you said Matt Hammond? I went to school. He was in my same grade there, Matt Hammond. I don't think it's the same one because he's kind of a short dude there. He
had half a foot. That's right, Van. I was making sure that's who I was thinking about. Yeah, and he played that year with a half a foot, and you don't get no tougher than that.
Yeah. And then we had a guy by the name of Tommy Johnson that made an interception and made a 23-yard return to the Miami 20. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, he's back there in the back. That's a year also we got that transfer. I guess that's a word we got from Chris Donnelly, played safety. He was back there in the back as a safety. And of course, you had Langham and Sam Shade, George Teague, and Tommy Johnson when you talked about the intercepted that ball and again broke the back of Miami. Willie Gaston played some, and of course, we had that defense is a reason why that team won a championship that year, and we all know that they did. If it wasn't for that defense that year with all Americans, Lemansky Hall, Antonio London, Derek Oden, Michael Rogers as a linebacker core, and they just seemed like each time you rattled a new one off, ran a new player out there, it was just as good as the one in front of him. And that's that platoon ball where they never got tired. You know, they worried about Copeland and Curry so much. Look up, and there comes Lemansky Hall off the edge, or there comes Michael Rogers, up the middle. It's a total different circumstance when you're worried about Copeland and Curry, and you look up, and here comes everybody that you not planned for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's what I like about Alabama. They just knew right when the right time was, and so anyway, yeah. You got anyone else special that you'd like to mention on this championship team there in '92? Because that's all I got for now. So
that's all you got for them. It's just again, it's a team effort because Jay Barker didn't throw in that game for about 18 yards and 2 interceptions. So our offensive line and our running backs is the key to that. But the key all season long was that defensive team. I mean, we had an all-world defensive team, and they just absolutely didn't let Miami get away with anything. But whatever you got on your next team, you can go ahead and bring them up if you want to, William.
Well, I gotta respond to my fellow horseman out there.
Who we got out there, Van?
Yes, Miami is talking the same shit this fucking damn state to the right of Alabama is talking the same shit. So we'll see. We'll go back to back, draw our swords, walk 10 paces, turn around, and boom. Get them fuckers there. Yes, sir. Yeah. Jeff Stapleton was talking about Langham there. He wants us to talk a little bit about Langham on that team there.
Antonio come out of that same Hazelwood High School that Terrence Lynch and Chris Hood and Pierre Good and all the guys over them come out of the same school. I'm thinking Terrence Lynch went to Hazelwood, if I'm correct. I believe he was. But back in Hazelwood might as well have been a 6A school because, man, they were tough. Lord have mercy. And then in Colbert County, between them both, they could whoop just about anybody you wanted to whoop. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Homegrown Cowboy, Channelview is a suburb east of Houston down there. I used to deliver down there. We had a terminal down there, actually, with Tidewater Transit. It's a tanker company. So, yeah, Channelview. That's where, what was his name that went to Oklahoma? He was from quarterback. Shit, I can't think. I got this shit in me. I told y'all I was on this shit, man. I got this rare breed going on.
Bring it on there, Wild Bill Cusser. It's all right, son. We want to get you excited.
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. He's from Channelview. Yes, sir. Yeah, you passed the high school going right on down to get to where I needed to make my right turn to go down to, well, am I right or left here? That would be right, I guess. Right turn to go to the terminal down there. So
I'm curious.
It's just in the corner of a trailer park down there. But so go ahead.
I'm curious as to what everybody thinks about who's your favorite wide receiver at Alabama over the years. I mean, I know Julio Jones started it all pretty much with Saban, but over the years, what their favorites are, William. Who's your favorite?
Running back?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Wide receiver. Was Calvin really? Was he one?
Yeah, he's a wide receiver.
Yeah, I like him. Sure did.
Calvin really, he definitely. I think he caught 100-something passes one season. Everybody's got their own favorites. That's why I'm asking if in the chat room, who they liked as far as receiver. Jeff Stapleton had Amari Cooper. I was trying to see what all they had. We had Jerry Jeudy, of course, Devontae Smith, and who's that other? Let's see, of course, Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, yeah, and then tied in over the years. Again, with Ozzie Newsome, you couldn't compare his stats. Today is but Ozzie Newsome, if he played today, he would be the best, probably tied in, and Brock Bowers would be second best. Brock Bowers is very, very good. I ain't taking nothing from him, but Ozzie was more of a game changer in his way back then. And of course, we also had O.J. Howard that tore Clemson a new rear end out. They couldn't cover him, and he's running off and leaving their secondary. Over the years, it's just we got so much to choose from and play from. But O.J. Howard, I think he caught for about 1,700 yards. I think that's what over his course of his career, and I think he's a first-round pick. I can't remember where he went. What you got, chat? Van Edwards, I see you got DJ Hall down there with Julio and Cooper. Ridley.
Yeah. Judy was good, man. I like Judy, sure do. Jordan Lambert's got pro throw in there, man.
Spencer, I think players can learn respect. They can learn waiting their turn, and they can learn a little bit more about what it means to be a ball player. Back then, these guys, they couldn't just walk in and say, I don't feel like staying here and walking out, going to transfer to another team. So when you got to Alabama, you got to the school, you had to learn to stick it out. You had to learn determination. So to me, I think they learn respect, determination, and the understanding that they're part of a team and they ain't, hurt my feelings. I'm gone today, coach. So they definitely had to work through all their little temper tantrums in a lot better fashion. We just got rid of a defensive lineman that hit a coach. He got mad and hit a defensive coach. He's married. He's glad. He better be glad Josh Chapman didn't fight him back. Josh Chapman's a grown man too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know who's next, don't you?
Who you got?
Hey, before you guys move on.
Okay.
Before you guys move on.
All right.
Jeff, I got the message. I'll pass it on, and you know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all go ahead.
Okay. Well, we're through with it. If we're through with Gene Stallings, then we'll move on to our other championship coach, and guess who that is? Guy that came along in 2007, Nicholas Lou Saban Jr. Yes, sir.
I thought we were going to talk about Dennis Franchione.
Oh, man,
No.
pizza maker.
He didn't win no natty. We talking about natty coaches.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that might be one of your favorite coaches. I didn't know.
Shit, we can spend all night just on the 2009. I got a lot of damn shit on him.
I'm right.
I got all right, 2009, we had that as an OC. That was Mr. Jim McElwain. That was his second season with us. And he played a multiple offensive scheme for us there. What do y'all think about compared to him to now? You think we're going to see a lot of that this year, or what do y'all think? Just offhanded, I know we're talking about the other, but would y'all like to see multiple offensive schemes this year?
You're going to see what we used to do under McElroy and A.J. McCarron. I think you're going to see a run-based offense. It's going to be predicated on play action pass. Excuse me. We got players that can really fit that bill. We don't have to pass for 90 yards on one play. We can throw 4 or 5 passes down the field, here and there, and just choke them to death with a period of time. It's just we really are going back to the murder ball days of running the ball 30, 40 times a game and then maybe throwing for 15 to 20, but them 15 to 20 will get just as much yards.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. That was an Amber Alert. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll catch them son of bitches that's got them, whoever it is. So maybe they will. And well, there again, we don't know the circumstance, but that's my view. Whatever, but I wish the best for whoever it was. That I hope they're not any danger. Let me just first of all say that the whoever it was is not in danger. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So it's never good.
Yeah. But Kirby was playing the 3-4 defense for us there in that 2009 championship. And the MVP that year was Rolando McClain.
Yeah, linebacker.
And Mark second. I think we had 2 that year, didn't we? That's what I got here. So we had him and Mark Ingram. Okay, the captains were Rolando McClain, Javier Arenas, and a dude by the name of Mike Johnson. You remember him?
Yeah, Mike Johnson was offensive guard. I think he went and got drafted by the Eagles. I can't remember. I think it was Eagles he got drafted by. Mike Johnson was a very good player for us. He's played 7 or 8 years maybe in the league. I believe I'm right on that. I just over the years you had so many linemen, like that it's hard to separate. Sometimes the name Johnson is a very common name, so sometimes it is. But I think he did play for the Philadelphia 6 years, maybe. Rolando McClain, he was he about 6'4", 245 pounds or something. He was humongous, compared to today's middle linebackers. You got more speed at linebacker than you do size because they were more of a run stopper. But again, you can go back over the years at players at Alabama like Leroy Jordan. Bear said, when Leroy's on the field, if the guy stayed in bounds, Leroy would tackle him. That's what McClain done. That's what Dante Hightower done. And now you got Deontay Lawson, and you got all kind of guys lined up. We were loaded at linebacker, and that's why I'm not worried about that kid that decided to go to that other school in Alabama instead of coming here, playing in Alabama. He's going to go over and play for the Peach Bowl, and he's going to go over and play for the Liberty Bowl, and he's going to have a pretty good career probably there because he's a highly talented kid, and I ain't going to speak ill of him. I wish he'd have come to Alabama, but he chose elsewhere. But at time he could change his mind and come back. But on that same team with Rolando McClain, again, you had Dante Hightower, and I think everybody sort of underplayed him a little bit because Dante was very, very good at what he'd done. He was very intimidating. You didn't run over his side, and you didn't run around him. He had you in the backfield.
Yeah. Van said if Blackshire is healthy, look out, buddy.
Yeah, Ken Blackshire is a good linebacker. He should be up there, and without much problem. If he can be healthy, like you said, you're right. If he can be healthy, then you got your hands full with that kid.
Yeah. Van
Check
said,
it out.
What does that mean? I'm reading Van Edwards said Giant Johnson's meat department.
Oh, no.
What does that mean?
No comment.
Is he talking about that Mike Johnson dude or whatever it was?
Yeah, well, you're a bit ashamed of yourself, man. Yeah, with the linebackers, we're loaded, guys. I'm telling you, man. With Chris Braswell and, of course, Tresman Marshall coming across, and we got Deontay in there and Dallas Turner at linebackers, and, of course, their backups, if you want to call them that, Jihad Campbell, Sean Murphy, Kiana Coate. And, of course, you got Keon Keeley coming in. He's supposed to be a whirly bird. And, of course, Justin Jefferson come in from a JUCO league. He's supposed to be a fast man. God, we were absolutely loaded at linebacker. And so all them people that got mad at that kid for flipping to that other school, don't be like that. He could still change his mind. And if he don't, he don't. But if you only have 85 scholarships, you can't get them all over a course of a team. If you got more than 85, you're in trouble, and you can't get them.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, it's football, man. We're gonna have injuries. Okay, it's football. So that's just me. If they choose to go over there, get the fuck on out of here. Get the fuck on out of here. Okay.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel. I mean, I understand where you come from, AT. I understand that. I do. But I also understand, wait your turn. Mac Jones he had to play 1 year. 1 year's all he got to play. See what he's doing? It's probably countless others. I'm just saying, if you just get to play 1 year, ball the fuck out like you want to do and go for it, man. Show out. If you ain't playing, then go to the coach. Whatever you got to do, go to your whoever coordinator. Say, hey, man, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
There you go.
Hey, you know how the song goes, Put me in, coach.
Well, we all remember old Mr. Mount Cody. I mean, that guy had such an effect, such a big personality. The name Mount Cody just absolutely sticks in. If you say the word Mount Cody anywhere in college football, then you absolutely you're gonna get a response because everybody knows who Mount Cody was. I mean, big number 62 when he blocked that extra point. I mean, that field goal for Tennessee with Lane Kiffin on that team that year. I mean, me and my friends, we like to hit the roof. I mean, every one of us, because if they had beat us that year, it would have knocked us out of it. But Mount Cody, number 62, and of course, everybody knows he got in trouble for, dog fighting or something along them lines. But Mount Cody is one of them game changers.
Yeah, but he was one of the consensus All-American selection. Terrence Cody, Mike Johnson again, and guess who? Javier Arenas again. So
Javier was special.
Yeah, he was. 2009, that was a special team, man. So, yeah. But the unanimous All-American selection was Mark Ingram II and Rolando McClain during that year. So,
yeah. They're both. I remember we lined up with a lot of times in the Wildcat with Mark Ingram and just ran the ball right at a team. And I never understood how you could just line up with a running back in the backfield and just run straight at them and just keep doing it. It never made sense to me because you know what they're going to do. If it's Mark Ingram lined up back there, why would you not bring everybody up the line of scrimmage and make it hard? But they couldn't stop him. Mark Ingram was a high class individual. You never heard him say a bad word. And that offense they had that year was murder, man. And of course, Mount Cody, like I said, is one of my all-time. I like the big guys, the Mount Cody, and of course that's what I think we got now. Jaheim Otis. Jaheim Otis is, I call him the Hulk because I mean that man is a man mountain also. He's gonna be hell to cover. They're gonna have to cover him or block him, rather, excuse me, with two people. You try to cover him with just one, block him with just one guy, and he's gonna be eating your lunch all 4 quarters.
Yeah. Can you show that two backs ago with what Van said there about that's why he's on? That's why he's on with us or something other. Whatever was it there? I have no shame. That's why I'm friends with y'all. Yes, sir. Come in, man. That's all we are, man. We just wild and crazy guys, as Steve Martin would say.
Steve Martin. Yeah, we of course last year Will Anderson, Mr. Do Everything, was supposed to be Superman on defense and do everything for everybody, like Coach Saban was saying. The rest of the guys didn't take up what they were supposed to do. They relied on Will Anderson to do it all, and you do it all. One man just you can't. I mean, close to come to it was our quarterback. Bryce Young was Superman. And then everybody relied on him, and we lost 2 games on the last play of 2 games. So, I mean, it's hard to have a Superman on each side and rely on them to do everything for you. If you do, you're going to get in some severe trouble. And that's why we didn't make the playoffs as far as I'm concerned last year. But Mount Cody was one of my all-time favorite players. I loved his personality, guys. He's such an outstanding individual. And then, of course, he left the pros and done what he done. But at Alabama, he never showed any of that issue, never had a problem with it.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping I was going to get done with this one. So if y'all don't mind waiting around a little bit or however you want to do this here, boss. But, I mean, I'm going to go over a few of the final team stats with y'all if y'all don't care. We had a second scoring defense of 11.71 per game. Second total offense of 244.14 yards per game. And this is talking about 2009. We had the second rushing defense of 78.14 yards per game. We had the 10th passing defense of 166 yards per game. We were the conference leader in scoring, total and rushing defense. Defense now. Defense. So, and then you got 12th nationally offensive pass rushing of 215.07 yards per game, 42nd total offense of 403 yards per game, and 92nd passing offense of 187.93 yards per game on that. And Van Lee Tiffin Jr., y'all remember that name? The junior. Yeah. He was the SEC leader, averaged 2.14 field goals and 9.43 points per game. So, and then we had Mark Barron. He was the AP All-American second team for us. So, and that gets us down to the 2011 team, unless y'all got something else on 2009. So we may be able to get this done. This part in your list.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing for 2009 on here. I just, like I said, there's certain of the years you got players that are generational type players, and Alabama has their more share of it than anybody else. You can look at what all we got coming in, this year on the offensive line, and you see what we got on our defensive line. And to me, that's been our problem for the past couple of years is the offensive and defensive lines have not been up to par, and they're going to be up to par this year. That offensive line we got coming in this year is going to be murder, man. I'm telling you, if it ain't Caden Proctor, it's starting at left tackle. It's going to be Elijah Pritchett. And of course, Darian Dalcourt or Terrence Ferguson at guard. Of course, Darian Dalcourt, you're back up at center, but Seth McLaughlin's going to be your starter, and Tyler Booker and J.C. Latham Guys, that offensive line is going to be murderous, and we got 5 running backs that can start for just about anybody in the country, and we got 5 of them that's going to be playing platoon ball, if you will, and you can do that. If one gets hot, leave him in the game until you find one that gets hot, and then keep rotating them in and out. You're going to get one that's going to run wide open. It's just tight ends we got coming in with Reeves. Reeves going to use tight ends like we ain't used them since O.J. hired in that Clemson game all them years ago. And it ain't gonna be the same 3 yards, throw the ball. Oh, now we're gonna be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, it's gonna be back to making their ass quit. And if you don't gotta believe it, Jogger, like you said, well, you don't have to believe it, but that don't make it not true. It's gonna happen.
There you go, man. I believe we're gonna have that same type murder ball defense there. Van Edwards, he said something about he played with a bunch of those guys on 2009. Man, I'd like to know some of that. You know who you played with. You know, I mean, damn, played against them. He said so. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to because you heard some of those stats. So, anyway, Bobby Sprinkle, we really need to get you on here because he said something about the 1950s team. He had an uncle that played on that. So, love to hear that. So, man, come on in here, brother. Yeah, great uncle. Played. Yes, sir. And everybody, like y'all said, that fucking Mount Cody there at the very last of that game, boom, blocked that motherfucker. Yes, sir.
Tennessee game.
I can watch that over and over and over, man. Sure did, man. That was his story.
Yeah, he did. He's lucky he didn't get a penalty on that one, taking his helmet off.
Yeah. Did they have that penalty back then?
I think they did back then. I don't know why he didn't get the penalty. I don't guess it really mattered because I can't remember if time went out or what the deal was.
Yeah,
but no, he didn't get a penalty for it.
I was hoping it's a dead ball and it's over. And like you say, I mean, if they'd thrown a penalty, I don't even got to kick it again. They probably would have made it.
Well, I think he was when he took it off. He was already really getting close to the sideline, so they didn't call it.
Right.
That's my opinion. I don't know what happened, but he didn't get called for it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes that shit, you know, you get caught up in the excitement, you know, and you know, any player can do that, you know. I mean, but I mean, if you're on the field, please keep it on, keep everything on, man. Just keep it on. Come on, keep it on.
Going back to last week real quick, I meant to bring that up. Y'all talked about the rules the other night and rule changes coming in without instant replay, without a replay booth official. I didn't understand that icebox. I don't know if you ever understood it or not about if there's going to be an instant replay booth official or not. I don't know if I understood that. I've read it. I don't know if it's how they're going to actually do that. But if they want to shorten the game, they need to let an instant replay official tell the guy on the ground, you know, what happened and tell him, you know, how to rule and let's get on with it. Don't go back over a call for 15 minutes. And everybody knows he stepped out of bounds. Why you take 30 minutes just to say he stepped out of bounds and then you shorten the game that way.
Yeah. The rule change is going to be something different.
Say again.
I said rule change is going to be something else this year. There's going to be more talk about it, I'm sure. It's coming.
Yeah, I didn't mean to break up what we were talking about. I just want to make sure I got into that. Because I might have misunderstood it. But if they're not going to have an instant replay booth official, I don't know how they're going to run it. Because I thought every play was looked at from upstairs from somewhere in some other city, you know, is looking at and see how the play was done, if it's done right, wrong, otherwise. And then it took them 30 minutes to agree, and they come out and they say it. And then now they're wanting to do all these other silly things to shorten the game. Just have an instant replay official, call it, and get going with it, and we don't have to worry about shortening the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I hear you, Jeff Stapleton. I don't like the rules either, brother. I mean, what can you do? I mean, you just raise hell about it until maybe they listen to us and quit doing it. just like charging $15, $20 for a cheeseburger at a ball game. I mean, you know, that's ridiculous.
What I see, and y'all can disagree or agree with me if you want to. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I'm Reverend Feelgood. I got this fucking rare breed in me, brother. I got this here. I'm just telling you, to me, what I seen in the rule changes, they're not gonna penalize the goddamn fucking referee for their damn calls. They're placing it all on them fuckers. That they can, whatever they're saying is gold. Bullshit! God damn it! That Tennessee game especially, that was a damn fucking laugh. The damn fucker right here, the guy hits it right here. Bryce Young, that don't get called. That's above the damn neck. And that didn't get called? Bullshit! Everybody seen it. Everybody did. And you don't know what goddamn fucking quarter it is. Goddamn, give me a break. Come on. Bullshit.
Also, I love the plays when other offense is running the ball down the field and the play after play, and all of a sudden you look up and there's a defensive lineman down, they stop the clock, and the next play there's a different defensive lineman down, they stop the clock. The next play another lineman's down, they stop the clock. But each time the player comes in on the next play, he is bad enough he had to stop the clock to get off the field, but he was good enough to come back in on the next play. And I know y'all talked about that and touched on that a little bit, because everybody knows when them players start playing, when they're acting and they're not hurt. And if somebody's really going to be hurt, and they're going to say you're acting, and they're not going to want to give him a timeout. You call Wolf one too many times.
And you know what that's going to be? All these damn lawyers you see on TV. Here's me some goddamn extra money, brother. They didn't call that, but you're really injured and you're really hurt. So let me take your case, brother. I do it pro bono. If I win your damn case, you give me some of that money. You pay me. They'll do it. I'll be a goddamn lawyer for them. Hell yeah. I say, give me the damn doctor there and give me the damn fucking medical record. Okay? I want to see this is bullshit with that part, because how are you going to know a fake from an original unless you got a damn doctor on the side? But yet there's a damn thing where I'm going back to. The damn referees is the law. They're like a damn policeman. They're the law. What they say goes. That's what they're getting down to. Bullshit. Replay can't go back and say this. Okay, well, let's see where this guy really got hurt or not. Right. What's wrong with investigating that? Go to the damn commercial. Forget this bullshit refereeing bullshit. If it takes time. Big fucking deal. Are we about fucking player safety? Like with the damn helmets, how they've improved that since 1940s or 30s or whatever. Are we really concerned about their safety? Are we? Or are we just wanting to shorten the goddamn game, motherfuckers? Shorten the goddamn game. Bullshit. Why don't you cut out them goddamn commercials? Why don't we put something interesting? Why don't we go to another game that's playing, maybe just a little snippet, and then go to that? Because it's all about this right here, man. It's all about that. Money, money, yes, money. Sir. And you know goddamn well the goddamn fucking auto industry is going to be pissed at this, because who's making money during that time? We're going to show them about Chevrolet or Ford or whatever. They're going to be pissed, and they got a right to be. Why not give them their time, and we can check this shit out correctly the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Go back to that scene there and see, did this guy really get hurt or not?
All about the cash. You're right.
Go ahead.
All about the cash. You're right. I mean, it's amazing how it's all. It always goes back about the money. If it profits, then they'll. If it don't, they won't. It's a crying shame, William. You're right, man. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. They're not going to, but rule changes, they're going to come and they're going to go. But again, I like to welcome back Mr. Eli Gold. You know, I'm glad to have him back. He's like a iconic sound at Alabama. A lot of times over the years, I've cut the TV down and turned him up because I didn't like the announcers. Like a lot of y'all don't like the announcers. They get on your nerves, and you put Eli Gold on there and touchdown Alabama. I mean, you felt the energy run through the crowd. You felt the energy run through everything, and it just a lot more enjoyable ball game with Eli, and I'm glad he's back. Again, welcome back, Mr. Gold. Thank you.
Me too. And whenever he said that, there ain't no doubt about that. Whenever you seen that, that was a national damn touchdown. It wasn't this here. Well, it's, actual touchdown, man. Actual touchdown. Yeah. Touchdown, Alabama. I can't do that just like it. Alabama. I can't do it like him. But I wish I had his voice. But yeah, Bobby Sprinkle said 1953. And I believe he said he was a quarterback at that time. So his uncle.
Maybe he was talking about his great uncle. Yeah.
Yeah. 53, wasn't it? So,
he played back in 1953, and he was the quarterback, the third string quarterback.
Yep. Yeah, so maybe he can elaborate more on that. So, yes, sir, Bobby, come on here. We'll have a great time. Get you some rare breed, what I got, and mix you some your other choice and roll down tide, brother. Come on here.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
Yep. I said Jeff a while ago. I don't know. Jeff, I know you said something about coming on the show. But I think we got one from another guy too. I don't know if he's in the chat room tonight, but anyways, we're working on another one. Jeff, here in just a few, I'm gonna show some more emails, bud. Get in there. Come on, get in there.
We got all kind of people doubting Saban right now. And y'all can listen to me, and I can tell you straight up, he ain't lost a step. He lost an inch. He ain't forgot a thing. He ain't going to give up. He's going to work harder than you. He's going to work more than you. He's going to do more than you. He's going to outdo you. He's going to just keep on and on and on. And he's not going to stop. You can talk about Kirby and all this other shit, but he ain't going to stop.
Who is Jeff Stable and talking about that Gary dude? Gary Fowler, is that his name, or is that who he's talking about?
I think he's talking about the CBS.
Chris Fowler.
Is it Gary Collins or
Gary Collinsworth, ain't it?
Yeah.
Or not?
I think you're right. You may be right.
Yeah, Collinsworth, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Are y'all about done for tonight?
Yeah, we're over. So yes, sir. And we'll start on the back-to-backs next week.
Yeah, they start back to practice this upcoming week. So, I mean, we're going to have more to talk about. I mean, when they go back to school and when they get back to practicing, we're going to hear a lot more about it. But to all you guys out there looking to play football at the next level, Saban is always a safe bet. Always.
Stapleton's right. I get it wrong. It's Gary Danielson's right. So it's Chris Collinsworth is on NFL. So yes, I get them confused too.
Don't even say that son of a bitch's name. I'm Chris Collinsworth. I can't stand him.
Right. So, anyway, that's all.
Y'all got anything last words while I'm getting these emails out? And guys, you can email either one of these, and they'll get some information across. And it's going for all the shows, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Fridays, and Saturdays. And we got enough emails in there. You'll be able to get. I don't think I gave him enough time. There we go. But yeah, get in touch with one of these guys if you want to be on the show. And we got guys that'll get you fixed up. And you got to do like you do on some of these things. You got to put in certain letters to prove you ain't a robot. You could be a fake Georgia fan. We don't know. So
I thought that's all it was.
I think
But yeah.
somebody said they couldn't stand that. Was it Chris Collinsworth or Gary Danielson? Probably since he's on.
Yeah, probably Gary. A lot of Alabama fans don't like Gary Danielson, but I kind of liked him.
I do too. I know he seems biased. Some people say he's biased sometimes, but I tell you, a lot of times when he says, look for this to happen next play or so, it usually happens. I mean, he knows the game. I mean, I know he played at Purdue and everything, so he's from up north, but, you know, he knows the game.
Yeah.
Jeff Stapleton says he's one of the bullshitters. I love it, man. Shit. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, as I got T-shirt up there, it's Alabama versus all y'all. You know, Alabama, the University of Alabama against every other university out there in the college sports world, football sports world. It's all of them against us. And we got some things we got to prove this year, and we're going to do it. I got that, no doubt in my mind. Yeah, so we got some more to go through. Icebox?
No. All we want to do right now is thank Joey for the platform. He is gracious enough to let us come on here and have fun with these people and do these shows. We want to tell them we appreciate it, of course. So, Joey, thank you. And you guys got anything else to say?
Roll Tide.
I was hoping somebody would.
Kings of confetti, man. That's all y'all got to remember. And we're going to do it again this year.
That's right.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow night, hopefully, and y'all come be with me and whoever else. We ain't no telling who's going to be on. You know, it's another dadgum test pilot. We don't know what in the world's going to happen tomorrow. So y'all come over and let's make it crazy. Guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Come back, next Friday, 7 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tuesday night.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all again then.
Alrighty.
All right. Roll Tide, baby. Y'all have a good one.
Roll Tide, guys.
Roll Tide, baby.